Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique in the Bridges at 57th, The Sky in T, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Thank you, Zach. Hey, speaking of Zach Dresch, he will be headlining at Boss's Comedy Club in T Friday, June 23rd, and has asked me to be the feature act. Thank you, my friend. I do definitely appreciate that. Along with a chance to work with you and Emily Wilson. She's going to be host and opener. Again, that's Friday, June 23rd. Hey, speaking of Emily, she and I are going to be co-hosting a benefit for Mighty Corson art players Saturday, June 3rd. We have a great lineup of variety acts scheduled for that show, being produced by the Vaughties. Details to come on both of those events coming soon. In fact, another reason for you to follow the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook and Instagram is we will provide you with updates on those events, as well as many other things. As for today's episode of this podcast, April Van LIersburg of Van Art Studio is going to tell us about an art show tomorrow night that benefits Garfield Elementary. In fact, the artists are all from Garfield. Then later we hear from John Gaskins of the Sioux Falls Canaries as they start their season next week. He tells us what we can expect for entertainment at the Birdcage. Plus, we'll tell you who or what gets this week's honorable mention, as well as choose another winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
What you toast with for the Weekend Eve is going to be dependent upon what time of day, where you're listening, etc., which also means it's going to determine what you're toasting with. Do you have a cup of coffee? Do you have a glass? Do you have a mug? Do you have a tumbler? You know the glass that I really like, though? A Decent. Yeah, it's an older bar glass, but always loved those Decents. And speaking of, here's what we're toasting to. We're toasting to the 60s and 70s. Not just two great music decades, but now, finally, great temperatures. Nice enough to be outside at the Firefly Oasis to grill, enjoy some Jasper Newton, and to enjoy the 60s and 70s in both regards. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by The Sky in T. Sky provides all-caps fun. That is best had with friends. Have fun playing darts, shooting pool. Have fun listening to great live music from local musicians. You can have fun singing at karaoke, or, as in tomorrow night at the Sky, have fun testing your knowledge at trivia. Oh, it's going to be a dandy because it's Cinco de Mayo, and it's all about the fives. And if you win, you can give yourself a high five. But maybe you need a big room to hold a company party or hold a benefit. That's why the Sky has that big back room. It fits the bill. No matter what's going on at the Sky, it's local and it's lively. It's time to choose a lucky winner of Pizza with a Podcaster. Everyone that follows the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook or Instagram is automatically entered to win a free pizza from Sonny's Pizzeria. We pick a winner each week. This week we say congratulations to Jill Engel. We'll be in touch with you, Jill, to get you all set up with some jowl-dropping, show-stopping thin crust pizza. Pizza with a Podcaster, brought to you by Sonny's Pizzeria, right across from USF at 26th and Waltz, and Sonny's at 81 on South Phillips. Check out that very fun, incredibly flavorful menu online, Sonny'sPizzeria.com. So what was it this week that made Dave smile, laugh, guffaw, or maybe shed a tear? And not just a tear of happiness, but a tear for drama's sake. Well, it's to the incredible variety of shows that were available to go to last weekend. My love and I saw Improv Falls on Friday night, then MCAP's production of At Long Last Leo. Two very impressive shows, one of amazing comedy and the other of incredible drama. Now, we had seen Cinderella the week before, but it was taking place at the Orpheum, and the Broads, now golf. Sadly, we didn't get the opportunity to see the Broadcast Theater at Willow Run Golf Course, but I'm sure we will get to another one of those shows again very soon. So coming up later in the show from the Sioux Falls Canaries, Game Day Entertainment Director John Gaskins. Up next from Van Arts Studio, April Van LIersburg on the Dave Holly Hour.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes through the Sioux Falls Community Education Program and special open studio nights every Thursday evening. Bisques, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
It's another Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment conversation on the Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. You know the pleasure I have in talking about Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. You know when I get a great guest back, how much I love that too. And it's especially fun when they're helping out a charity too at the same time. April Van LIersburg from Van Art Studios. How are you?
I'm great.
It's been too long.
It has been too long.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other all winter.
I know.
You know, we got on this track of seeing you like the first Friday of every month.
Yeah.
For the longest time at your studio, and a few other times we were in there. And then all of a sudden, here's winter.
It was a tough one, wasn't it?
That it was, no doubt about that. We were commiserating about it before we started our official conversation here. But you made it through.
Made it through.
You're ready for First Fridays again, and you're going to start them off with a charity event.
I am.
This Friday.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us the hours, and then who we're benefiting first off.
Yes. So it's a little variance on what we normally do. We usually 5 to 9. This time we're going to do 4 to 8:30. That way, because it's for Garfield Elementary School.
Excellent.
That way the teachers and kids can come right down after school. So that should work good. We're really excited because it's their first year of fundraising, and they're really needing those funds for all the family nights and so forth.
Right.
So
And-
we're excited.
And hopefully that translates into some of their art projects too then?
Absolutely. And the kids, they had so much fun doing this. So they got chosen based on leadership skills and how they're behaving in class and so forth. So only some got chosen.
Okay.
And they were super excited. We showed them samples of what we wanted them to do. A couple classes had different themes they were going on. And they just had a blast. The kids were great. It was so much fun.
So did you get to go over there and see a lot of that then while it was taking place?
Yeah, so I helped. So
Okay.
there was 3 of us, and we went down to the school and went into a separate room and set these kids up and went to town, showed them what we were looking for, and they did a great job.
What ages are involved then?
So it's all elementary school, and so we did for first and second we had a theme, third and fourth, and then fifth and sixth. So,
All right, and what were they then?
So we have let me make sure I get this right: love, diversity, and leadership skills.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I like how it progresses, too, for those ages then.
Yeah.
And are you hoping this becomes an annual event?
Yeah, if it goes well, we'd love to do it again. And I've always wanted to do a school. I think it's a great charity to support. And I think it's really good to encourage the kids to be doing art and to show them there's a possibility of some sort of a career with art and just get them excited about it. So.
And the other thing is, it's regrettably, it's sad that we've come to so much having to raise funds for public schools.
Yes.
But we all know the situation, especially in this state, and that education tends to fund a lot of different things that don't necessarily fund truly educational and mind-working things, such as art.
Absolutely.
And so I'm happy that this is taking place because I certainly would advocate for it and want to see that happen. And so Garfield's going to be going great guns. But it's surprising that, say, first time for fundraising for that group then.
Yeah. I was surprised to learn that, too, from one of the teachers, said that this is the first year they've really done that. But so this is great, and 100% of the proceeds go to the school.
Perfect.
So
all right.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Now, and even though the child won't be getting money for their artwork,
right,
directly, they're indirectly getting it.
Yep.
But still, there's got to be some pride in what a piece sells for them, doesn't there?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're pretty pumped up. I think they're pretty excited and proud of themselves. So you can't beat that.
Yeah, true. All right. And so first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, 3 different themes, one for each of those subsections. And it's...
You know what? I think I got that wrong. I think it's kindergarten and first, second and third, fourth and fifth. Okay, correction.
All right. Well, we got that straightened out just in time, didn't we?
I'm not a teacher.
Because today's Thursday and tomorrow's the show.
Yeah.
But it's going to be awesome. I could just feel it. And so how many total pieces are there?
We have about 40.
Okay.
So we're selling them all for $30 each, but of course a person could donate more extra if they want. They also get a tax write-off slip for that donation, so another win-win there. So we're hoping people are generous and excited and help us make our goal. I'm hoping for $3,000. That's my goal for the school.
That would be excellent. Yeah. Nobody's going to turn down $3,000, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Wouldn't you like your piece to get $3,000?
Yeah, actually I would. Yeah. Nowhere near that yet.
Are we going to see some other art there too? Some of the things that are in Van Arts at the moment,
not
or
for
is it all coming
show.
down for the show?
I want all the attention on the
just
fundraising.
The kids. Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So, but in the future, as we do shows for the rest of the season, I'm thinking we're going to open a couple rooms of other art for sale besides the featured artists, stuff that we have, stuff I have, and put those at a discounted rate and see if we can't move some of those things. So.
All right. So did the kids have, in terms of a format, they could only go, 8 by 10, or was size whatever they wanted?
Yep, we had smaller size for the younger kids.
Okay.
10 by 10, I believe. And then we went up to 16 by 20. So different sizes for different ages.
16 by 20, though. That's very cool.
Yeah. They turned out good. So.
Yeah, and you know what I really hope doesn't happen at this? I hope that it's not just a parent buying their child's stuff.
I hope not, too.
Let's support this. As an arts community, get out there and buy a piece and, and throw a few extra bucks their way, too.
Absolutely.
So do that. And then you can proudly display it, and I'm hoping maybe some of it goes to, some children's clinics, different places like that.
Absolutely.
And people need to The one good thing we have going is Sioux Falls is an incredibly generous community.
Really, they are.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
And obviously, the charity events have been working out for you and so forth.
Yeah.
And so there's more to come, I'm sure.
Yes.
When you started doing it, did it go beyond what you expected?
In regards to charity shows?
Yes.
Yeah, that big charity show we had last year that you attended. Boy, people have so much fun when it's auction style like that.
True.
I mean, and I don't know if I told you this, but we ended up selling out every piece.
That's right.
Yeah, because we had a gentleman come in at 7:30.
And whatever hadn't been.
Yeah, he just put a bid on everything that hadn't been bid on. And so then by the end of the night, I mean, he still got overbid on things. But by the end of the night, it was sold out.
That's excellent.
So that was wonderful. And that particular show, her goal, because they were trying to get this website going, was 3,000, and we came in with 3,200.
Perfect.
So, yeah, definitely exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, so that 3,000 that you're going for this time should be able to be done again.
We're hoping so.
Yeah. That'll be awesome. All right, so that's, again, tomorrow night, starting at 4:30.
4
right after school for
school.
Garfield. They can get down there, and you're going to let them, talk about their pieces?
Yeah, I'm hoping they do. Some of them are pretty shy. You know how that goes.
Exactly.
Some kids will have a lot to say, and some might not have much. But I know a lot of grandparents are coming down and different things.
I'm wondering, how tough some of the crowd might be. So tell me, what were you thinking about this particular piece? And so forth, get that usual art speak in that people love to do.
Yeah.
But it'll be a great thing, not just for the community of Garfield Elementary, but also for the community of art. Absolutely. And thank you so much. You always are thinking this way, April.
Thank you.
It's great. And so in the meantime, tell us more about Van Art Studio right now. What's been going on there?
So we're gearing back up for our next season. Got the lineup. We have every show booked through the fall, so that's good. We're ready to go. Selecting pieces, seeing all kinds of neat art. So I don't have any themes this year, but we have some great artists coming up, and I won't wreck the surprise quite yet of who and what and when.
Questions 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. Just a reason for me to reach out to you and
exactly.
let you know what's going on.
That always works, too.
Yes. But First Fridays, so it'll be First Fridays.
First Fridays,
Come on down to 120 North Phillips.
And just a fun little studio, too. I love walking in there and seeing things on the walls and seeing things that I can afford, and then seeing the things that I really would love to, and seeing the things where my wife says, we don't have any room left.
You really don't. You really don't. I mean, what an art collector you are. It's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah. And they're all local.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the thing.
I love that. I always say this when I talk to you. Don't go buy your art at Home Goods. Buy from a local artist.
Exactly.
Support your community.
Yeah,
and have an original piece. You never know who's going to get big
true.
anyways.
Yeah.
So.
And even if that's not the case, get it because you like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just that plain, simple reason.
Yep.
And you don't have to explain to anybody else why you like it if they don't. Just because you like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there is one.
So important to remember that art is therapy for people. So you're supporting mental health when you purchase an original piece.
And there is one thing that's missing in this studio, though. But it would require that size thing, wouldn't it?
It would.
An April Van LIersburg original is still to be had at some point in the collection.
We'll keep you in mind for a small one. See if we can
there
find
you
a
go.
spot.
Yes. All right. Well, there's one right up there.
Hey,
I
there
see
we
it
go.
open.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. You could do
right next to Hector.
Yes.
I love it.
Isn't he a dandy?
He's great.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
what a great guy.
Super nice man.
Yep. And a pretty talented guy for drawing stuff, too.
Yeah, I tell you what, he has found so much success. I'm super proud of him.
Yes, he has. Yep.
It's great.
Yeah, and for those that are unaware, Hector did a caricature of me, and that's what's up there. And that was just done one day when we were down at a market at, I believe it was a Wood Grain Brewing.
Oh, sure.
They were having a, local stuff, it was arts, crafts, a few things here and there. And so saw Hector and sat down And so he starts doing that. And then he shows me this book about Joe Foss
Yes.
that he illustrated and wrote. And it's like, wow. Got to have you on the show then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's found so much success.
He's been doing great,
Yeah.
great guns. That has to be a proud spot for you as someone in the art community when you see somebody doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's it mean to you as an artist when you see another artist?
Well, I'm just really glad when I see the community supporting artists,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes that can be a struggle. And so when I see somebody doing that well, I know that we're headed in the right direction in our community. And the arts are important. It's really
Very much.
important. So it's great to see, and he's such a worthy guy of that, all the accolades that he's received. And there's a lot of artists like that, and I just want to help get them recognized.
And we're going to be recognizing more artists on this show coming up very soon. We're putting together things along with the Sioux Falls Arts Council to be featuring a lot of people that have been given their little micro grants.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and so we'll be
Great.
covering it all. In fact, I saw the list the other day of who's applied, who's been given those micro art grants, and it's amazing the diversity that's in there.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
different genres, and some will be spoken art, some will be visual, some will be photography, some will be musical, and it's just been fun to see what's going on there. And in terms of the growth of art in Sioux Falls, how we doing?
I think we're doing great. I'm always surprised how many artists are out there.
Mm-hmm.
You've got quite a few galleries in town, and they just keep coming. The artists just keep coming out of the woodwork, and some of these people are really, really talented. So it's neat to see.
And I have yet to see a duplicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, all these people have different styles even.
They do, yeah. So we've got a few shows. Well, again, I don't want to wreck it, but
No.
we got some interesting stuff
Thought
coming
I had
up.
her on the hook there, kids.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting season. And I actually spent my winter working on photography, and that's something I hadn't pursued really in the past. And so if there's a show that's a little light, I'm going to throw some interesting April photography into the mix.
Well, I kept
like
seeing
that.
things on Facebook and your Instagram and so
Yeah.
forth, and it's like, oh man, she takes really good photos too.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh,
I didn't realize
there's
how
a
much I liked that.
hidden agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. I really
I
liked
can
it.
imagine. See, that was one of my first loves of art.
Yeah, it was photography.
Was photography. Yeah, because
really
I
fun.
can't draw, I can't paint.
Yeah.
I doodle and some stuff, but when it comes to my artistic ability, it was photography to begin with.
If you can catch that right photo.
Yeah.
And I had quite a few blown up onto metal over the winter, and boy, those turned out nice. The presentation is nice, and so we'll see if it's well received.
Right. And see, there's another great example of how art has moved on beyond the
Yes.
basics.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of people can do really well just by having a nice camera now.
Yeah.
Because of the software, because it's digital and things like that.
Yeah.
But I always hope that whoever takes up photography learns what the f-stops and the shutter speeds and everything prior to all this were.
Yeah.
And how that all interacted. But there's still beauty in a black and white photo.
Absolutely.
And just amazing what you can find in there.
Yeah.
But then now that, the different mediums that people are having them printed on.
Yes, I was surprised at the options.
Yes.
So many options. It was pretty interesting. You got some curved metal pieces that can sit, just so different. So many options.
Well, there's a drawing on that set, so maybe it needs a photo next to it.
Maybe it needs a photo. I got a couple that I'm going to keep in mind for you.
All right. I love it. Thank you so much, April. I know that you've been on enough times that you know the typical questions at the end, when you're not part of the art scene, what do you like to be entertained by? But considering the time of year that this show is going to be on, where are you playing volleyball?
Net binders start on Wednesday.
Okay.
I can't wait. I love playing volleyball.
I know you do. And is it all in the sand?
It's in the sand.
It's in the sand. Now, do you wear shoes when you do that?
No,
you don't.
barefoot.
You're barefoot in that.
Yeah. So it feels like my farm kid days. It's
Yeah,
great.
I can imagine.
Sun, sand, there's beer there. I
Yep.
mean, it's a win.
Life's good, huh?
Yeah, life's good. Girl time.
Oh, well, life is always good when you're on this show.
Oh, thank you.
I always enjoy our conversations, and especially enjoy your art and all the art that you bring to us as well with the shows. And this one especially going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Garfield Elementary, tomorrow night, 4 to 8:30, Van Art Studios, 110?
120.
120 North Phillips.
Yes.
All right.
We're going to have candy and Kool-Aid there. So
man.
come on down.
I'm going to hope to make it very briefly between two different things.
All right.
Okay? All right. Thank you very much, April.
Thank you, Dave.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or exokairos.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Support the Dave Holly Hour in a very easy way. Buy Dave a cup of coffee by clicking the cup in the lower left corner of www.davehollyhour.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, I love to talk about Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. It's always fun to talk about it with this young man who is now, he's still in the lead for being the number one booked guest.
Yes.
He is John Gaskins. He is the entertainment director of the Sioux Falls Canaries.
Dave Holly, so good to be here.
Oh,
you sang at the start of the show, so I will too.
Okay,
we can
we
do this
like
whole
it.
show if you'd like.
No, it's not an opera.
Okay,
no.
good.
But
I was recently rejected from the Rainbow Chorus of Sioux Falls. So
you were?
It was very informal. They're just like sing a fa la 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 la, and this is after like 3 drinks. And
okay.
I didn't have a chance to warm up or anything, but that's okay. My my husband's in it. They're coming out to the Birdcage Pride Night.
Excellent.
One of the many wonderful things we'll get to.
Yes, no doubt about that. Entertainment director for the Sioux Falls Canaries, John Gaskins, and he comes on often because they got a lot of things they have entertainment for throughout the year.
That and I bribe you a lot.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It works.
It does.
And people have realized that if they've been on and they've had a pleasant experience, then I'll get an email. Hey, I've got this coming up. Can we talk about it? Yeah, because that's rule number one is if you've been on before and you want to be on again, you get to.
I try to pick my spots.
But in the meantime, here we are, and this is episode number 178. And in that time, we've still had over 250 separate guests.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you don't screw around.
No.
You don't just go back
to get to.
You don't just go back to the well.
Those were the old broadcast days. Okay, on Mondays we're going to have so and so. On Tuesdays you're going
to. Did talk radio for 15 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to have your appointment guests. But yes, keeping it fresh.
In the meantime, though, Canaries are starting on what date here in town?
First of our 50 parties at the Birdcage.
That's right. You like to call them a party.
I do. It's a big topic around the office, but I still contest that they are parties in the best sort of way, because a party means a different thing to all ages.
That's true.
And we want all ages and aim for all ages to have a blast when they come out. It starts May 11th, Thursday, May 11th. So those listening to the podcast, depending on when you're listening, around a week from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so
it's earlier than normal as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
A couple weeks earlier than
Why
normal.
so?
You got me. I don't know. Because it's the same number of games. We're going to play 100 games. But my guess is the players are going to get a few more days off. I mean, sometimes these guys go 14, 15 days playing. And the typical thing to do is roughly a week on 6 or 7 games at home. Then you go 6 or 7 on the road, and you might get 1 day.
Have a travel day in between.
Day off. Usually they'll hit the road after their last game, which is usually on a Sunday. And then, I mean, you head off into the night, taking the bus down or up the interstate somewhere around the American Association. And so that's my best guess.
All right.
Same number of parties.
Well, in the meantime, what party are we starting off with next week then?
Goodness, it's a basic baseball is back party. But then Friday night and on into the weekend, I mean, we're going to have a Saturday night fever night, so disco oriented. And that's actually right off the bat with that. And then June 3rd with Pride Night. Those are our first 2 Saturday games. Fridays and Saturdays in our business, just like much of the arts and entertainment business, those are the big nights, right? Yeah. So we're really putting our eggs in our baskets for those. And the first 2 times out, here's the instant connection to the Dave Holly Hour and the Dave Holly experience and community and empire. A dream of mine the last 2 or 3 years is going to come to fruition at least a few times this year, and that is we're bringing out some actual performers, entertainers, actors, singers, dancers, and they're going to be with us Saturday night, May 12th, Saturday night, June 3rd, and a couple others, and they're from the Premier Playhouse.
Excellent.
We are
well done.
We're teaming up with the Premier Playhouse. I got to tip my cap to a couple of our full-timers in the office. It's a seasonal job for me, but Whitney and Allie tracked down and really got to know the folks, Oliver and the folks that lead the Playhouse. And, Oliver's a New York guy.
Yeah.
He comes from Broadway territory, baby. And he just wants, I'm sure you've had him on the show, he wants to just bring more life, more pizzazz, more Broadway to Sioux Falls. And they're doing it. They're doing it at the Orpheum, but they're going to be ours at the Birdcage at least a few times.
Well, that's fantastic. Besides, the other thing is with the Orpheum and, arts in general now, when it comes to the theaters, there's not much downtime anymore during the summer.
Right.
Because at the Orpheum, the Premier Playhouse, Oliver was just on a week or 2 back and talked about the fact that they've got so many different camps and educational things that are going on at that time, and there's always going to be something going on that people will be able to take part in.
Right.
So I applaud you that you got that done.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I applaud us, too. I didn't have anything to do with that one, although it's been something that I was trying to do 2 or 3 years ago.
It's been up on the whiteboard for a while, huh?
It has, and so I'm just thrilled that the Canaries are continuing to see and find the light that this is about so much more than baseball games. And, for those who have listened to my, I was going to say performances on your show before, but it really is, we really take the Birdcage to be as another place of performing arts, and more so a venue for people to come. I mean, we've used the word party, but it is an experience. Right. We want magic to happen for anybody of any age that goes there, particularly kids, because if kids love it, they'll keep coming back, which is why adults come back to Disneyland as adults. We want this to be a Disneyland of Sioux Falls. We do not have the amusement park rides. We have baseball games, but we have a playground with bounce houses for the kids. We have tried to and have vastly improved the food you have at the game. But our goal for anybody who walks into that entrance at the Birdcage on any of our 50 parties is to immediately smile, and for that smile to not come off their face for the rest of the evening. And it can be one of many elements throughout the course of 2.5 to 3 hours. We've got shorter games coming up this year, by the way. That's going to be an element of the games. But whether it is the food, whether it's the customer service of our staff, whether it's something me and the entertainment staff does via live stuff between innings or on the video board between innings, because we're cooking up a lot more videos this year, highlighting the personalities, the sparkling effervescence of our players. It's just it is supposed to be the State Fair, Disneyland, an experience, a night out where it's not just we're going to a baseball game. We're going to go somewhere and have a blast. We're going to have a party, and to have some people, not just on our staff, to be able to go through with this night after night, but now people from the Premier Playhouse literally volunteering their time to do so is awesome. And it's not going to be something that's you're just going to see between innings, between the baseball. The whole point of this is to also have, some color and some life, some characters to walk around. Mm-hmm. This is modeled after one of the most successful minor league baseball teams in America, whose whole brand is fun, and that's the St. Paul Saints.
Right.
And their ownership used to own the Canaries, and the golden age of the Canaries, performance-wise on the field, but also entertainment-wise in the stands. When I first moved to Sioux Falls here about 13, 14 years ago, the Saints owned the Canaries. And what the Saints do that we've been dreaming about doing the last 2 or 3 years is having usher-tainers, is having not just people who are going to entertain you on the mic between innings, which is usually me, sorry, but it's some characters, not intrusive, just stuff that's going to make people of all ages smile, interact with the fans, give them a little something extra than just sitting there watching a baseball game.
Sadly, I'm going to miss the performance of the Premier Playhouse on May 12th.
Okay. Well,
yes.
Hey,
I have 6th row behind the Cubs dugout at Target Field.
You've been waiting for like 5 minutes for me to shut up so you can tell me that. so you can let me eat that one. Did you say dugout?
Behind
Cubs?
the Cubs dugout, 5th or 6th row.
Go big or go home, man.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I had a good year last year, so
you did.
I did. So that's what bought those tickets.
Congratulations.
And let's see if I run into somebody and talk to them up there and maybe put them on mic. Yeah. Well, then it's tax deductible too.
Yeah, that's good. to you. To you, what is? I mean, you're obviously a baseball fan, and see, we have those.
Yeah,
there's
that solid core of those. Yeah,
for the Canaries to survive and thrive, for big time baseball, the biggest baseball entity there is in the state of South Dakota and our region, to survive and thrive. And we may get into a conversation about moving the whole thing downtown to a new stadium downtown at some point in this pod. I mean, it's your podcast.
It's going to happen. We already know that. And we're not saying that the baseball stadium is going to happen, but we're going to be talking about it here in just a little bit.
It's got to be about more than baseball, but what is it?
Right.
What is it to you? What hooked you, and why do you still get so giddy to go to a Cubs game or go to the occasional Canaries game?
The fact that first of all, I love hearing the crack of a bat.
Yeah,
I love it when you can tell that a ball is going to be going over the fence.
Yeah,
and then there's still the great factor of an amazing play, somebody stealing a homer, unassisted triple play, things along that line. Yeah, they do not happen that quickly. And, of course, a lot of people aren't real big on pitchers' duels, but a lot of people that are baseball fanatics are.
Yeah.
And the rules have changed to, make things go faster. I have noticed that remarkably so, because many times I get off work at 4 o'clock in my regular job, and typically Cubs play about 1 o'clock, 1:20 or something, and I could usually catch the last inning or so. Mm-hmm. Not anymore.
Right.
The game's over.
Yeah.
So I know it is speeded up, and I'm thankful for the sake of baseball that it has. They still didn't implement the rule that I wish them to put in.
I can't wait to hear this.
Once a guy gets in the batter box, now there are some rules about that now. You do not have to take your batting gloves and adjust them 85 times between each pitch.
They still let them do that?
Yes. They're still getting by with it.
Right.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're set. Get in there.
Yep.
The pitcher's got a clock now that he has to work with.
But it is
Be
working.
there.
The people,
Yes, it is.
the powers that be of baseball realize the sport's going to die if it
Right.
continues to be played at the pace it does. And that's the blowback and the feedback that we'll get from people who just don't want to try us out. They don't want to taste the flavors of the Birdcage, literally with the food, figuratively with the entertainment and the baseball, because they think it's too slow. They think it's too boring. And so at least baseball is addressing its own issue that way.
That's true.
And that's in Major League at the highest level. But our league, which is an independent minor league of professional players, mostly in their 20s, looking to move their way up, implementing the same thing, getting them ready for the major leagues.
Exactly.
By having a clock, a literal running clock, which baseball has never had. It's literally been a timeless sport since the 70s, and my gosh, we are finally moving into the microwave, no attention deficit society, where, everything has to happen right now.
True.
So they're moving things along a little bit better.
Okay, but in terms of, the occasional Canaries game that I get to, which has been pretty decent.
Sure.
I'm a busy man, so I can't make it as often as I'd like to.
You are.
Typically, it's going to be a Wednesday, maybe a Thursday night that I get out there, occasionally on the weekend, but it is, the different promotions that you have throughout the year, the bobbleheads, especially when you can get one of Harry Canary, and I have a couple of those here in the house. Well, one in the house, one down in the three-season room.
Yeah.
Well known as,
right.
You know what it is.
By the Firefly Oasis.
Yes. And, it's fun stuff like that. And, the major leagues do it too. They just don't do it as often between innings with the different promotions and so forth.
Well, yeah.
But
and there's a reason
right,
why they do it less
exactly.
than we do.
Yeah.
Their baseball is enough because they're in huge metropolitan areas.
Yep,
There's
and
enough
people
baseball
are
fans
drawn there.
Absolutely. It's a huge experience. Any sporting event you can go to, 20, 30, 40 or more thousand people, that sells itself.
Yeah.
So,
but they still do the bobbleheads. They do different giveaways to the first, thousands or whatever. That's always been a great experience, even since being 5 or 6 years old and going to a major league game. That you had to get something of a souvenir, something that you had to pick up, and we've over the past couple of years been into the pro shop often.
Yeah.
So we have our gear. We always have to get something new every year, as we enjoy that. And I still just enjoy sitting there and, hooting and hollering anytime something's going on.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the field or whether it's between innings, whether it's, the stupid things that we all like to say or listening to other people. I think that's one of my favorite parts, actually, is I love just sometimes sitting there and listening to the trite things that are said during every baseball game.
Just amongst fans nearby you talking to themselves?
Pretty much. They think, every one of them is an expert.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always love that because, I know my limits. I know what I love about the game.
Yeah.
I know who I want to cheer on. I know why I want to cheer it on. Yeah. And I love the chess match that goes on. It took me a long time in life to really appreciate that part of it. But, man, once you get it into your system, it's like, oh, man, this is really... And you start thinking of all the different things. But... even with the knowledge that I have of the game, there's still so much I don't know about it.
Sure.
And I like to learn about it, but it doesn't seem like the people sitting in front of me or behind me, when they're passing along that knowledge, really know what the hell they're talking about.
Yes. But that's part
of
that's
part of the
that's
whole
part of the
scenery.
fun and spectacle of sports. Why people like sports is because it's the entertainment that is unscripted. And a lot of entertainment is scripted. And I love love music concerts. Go to them all the time. I love going to plays. Just went to see Dear Evan Hansen. And my husband and I are huge supporters of the arts community. I'd like to consider myself part of it because the Canaries, to me, are an entertainment experience and venue. And I do sing poorly and dance poorly and try to get the rest of the crowd to sing and dance poorly because it's much more fun the more people you have in on the act, which is why I'm excited for the actual pros from Premier Playhouse to be there with us at least a few times this year. But the action that goes on the field, that's totally unscripted. You don't know what's going to happen any given night, and something different or crazy or weird is going to have you talking if you're paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, which I rarely was when I went as a fan, because I have no attention span, well, good. We've got a bright, new, beautiful video replay board that you can watch what just happened. Just the combination of that spontaneousness of sports, but some of the scripted and improvised fun and entertainment we provide in between it is, to me, makes for a magical night out, for anybody of any age.
So 50 of them?
Yeah.
Once again, 50 parties.
Yes, starting May
50
11th.
different bits of entertainment throughout the year as well. So plenty to go see.
And awesome food.
True.
We've got a chef in Chef Jess. She's one of the most colorful people I know. She is a blast to talk to, and she is a mad scientist when it comes to the kinds of culinary creations she can make up. And yet she's doing a lot of her menu making with the Canaries and our ballpark food within the confines of what a lot of people expect to get when they go to the ballpark. And so we'll have a lot of both. I mean, and our hot dogs are going to be Nathan's hot dogs this year for the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Nathan's is bringing in its own line of pizza with us. But, I mean, pulled pork sandwiches. We're adding chicken wings, finally. I mean, it's too bad it took so long, but we've got chicken wings at our baseball games, and Jess is going to make sure those do not get skimped on, that those will be flavorful and the right juiciness and the right texture, and they will pop. They've got gluten-free and vegan options, and she loves making up all kinds of desserts. And last year she had a strawberry cheesecake waffle cone to die for.
And with my diabetes, I might die for it.
So food is and should be a big part of any experience when anyone of any age, especially people bringing their families and their kids to the game, are gonna go out for an evening of entertainment. Instead of going out to eat before the game, trust us.
Right.
We've got plenty there. And I'll be the first one to admit, if you've been to Canaries games within the last 10 or 15 years, it used to be standard ballpark food.
Yeah.
Somebody outside of our organization was taking care of that or not taking care of it. You weren't necessarily going to have the freshest food. That's all changed. You come on back, your taste buds will have as big of a party as any other part of you will that evening. And it usually starts there, right? You go to the game, you should be going most games start at 6:30, 5:30 on Saturdays, right after lunch, or I should say for lunch, noon on Sundays. You should be hungry and ready to go. And so that's part of the fun is Chef Jess's fun, and it's a fun new menu, and that gets the ball, that also gets the ball rolling for people before the baseball even starts.
And we love it, and looking forward to it as always. But what about recent developments? What is the latest on possibly having a different stadium, possibly being in downtown?
Yep.
I know that there was a meeting this week that you went to hear about how downtown has been revitalized over the past 20 years, and and there's still a lot to be done. But where does a possibility even of a new ballpark sit at this point?
I got to tell you, I've been talking about this possibility well before I was ever a Canaries employee, when I used to be on the radio every day on a local sports talk show. Every summer that topic would come up, the Canaries. Do they need a new stadium? Would a new stadium work downtown? Would more people go to the games? Would it be a better product? Would it be better for downtown? How good would it be for the city? And my answer, of course, this is well before I was a Canaries employee. Just name any downtown of any city near us that people like going to. Just the people that from Sioux Falls go to the most. Omaha. New downtown park 20 years ago. Minneapolis, new downtown ballpark 13 years ago. St. Paul, new downtown ballpark about 6 or 7 years ago. I mean, Fargo's really the only one that I can think of that hasn't done it yet. Lincoln, Des Moines always had a downtown ballpark. Winnipeg in our league.
Beautiful.
And then
ballpark,
almost every
Winnipeg.
major league city. But even the minor leagues. Well, I'll ask you, why does that seem to work? Why would you want a baseball stadium downtown?
Because summertime, people like to go on vacation. And downtowns have a lot to offer.
Yes.
And so they want to find a hotel that's going to be close to the ballpark if they've got that on their agenda.
Yeah. And for the Canaries, first of all, what it would mean for the Canaries, I don't feel the best about talking about it from the Canaries' benefit point of view first, but I will, because it also coincides with why I think it would be awesome for all people of this city, especially even people that already love going downtown right now, because I'm one of them. I love it downtown. I've lamented that, whether it was when I was a fan or now as an employee, that I work and then sometimes spend most of my leisure time in Sioux Falls downtown. But with Canaries games, when I'd go to a game before I worked for the team, it's only like a 5 to 10 minute drive from downtown. But, I would go out for a cocktail or two or go out for dinner before the food was awesome at the games. And, and then I'm like, okay, now I got to get in the car and drive a few miles to the ball. Why can't it just be down here? It would complete the summer experience. And let's face it, we get 3 to 4 decent or halfway decent weather months of the year. That's it. I mean, we could say good weather or warm weather, but we know better. Like our best chance to go outside and enjoy ourselves, we get 4 months. And in that time, that is when the Canaries play. That's when baseball happens around here. And the more things we have to do with the great outdoors in a cosmopolitan environment makes sense. For the Canaries, it would make sense because we would get so much more natural foot traffic to the games. You are now not making everybody drive out to the northwest edge of town to go to a game. And it's only 15, 20 minutes for most people who live in Sioux Falls. As I said, it's only 5 or 10 minutes from downtown. But when you have it right there, it's right there. I mean, I don't even need to explain that, right? And because downtown, and this is what the Downtown Rotary Club on Monday was about, which I covered for Dakota News Now, it was a look back on how downtown's just exploded. Arts, bars, business, restaurants, walkers, the whole thing. How it changed from this kind of commerce and culture wasteland where nobody wanted to go except teenagers driving the loop, right? To what it is now, the beacon and destination of both residents and visitors. All right. What it led to was not only bringing people to visit, but bringing people to live downtown. So many people live down there now. And these are people who will embrace anything. Build the Levitt, bring the music to downtown outside. Okay, we'll go. Build a new baseball stadium. It's just going to make it a lot more convenient for a lot of people who already live and want to be a part of an arts and entertainment scene to be there. Plus the Canaries will be revived by having all the people that are planning to go downtown to make an evening downtown, and they can plan their evening either around the Canaries or make the Canaries part of what they were already planning. And plenty of people who might just be going downtown to have a drink or have a meal, they're going to hear the sounds of the speakers from the stadium. They're going to see the lights when it gets a little dark, and they're going to go, what the hell, let's go to a game. Because I've done that in St. Paul, and you're just enticed, and you got admittedly a good buzz going. How can we step this night up a notch beyond the awesome bars and restaurants and people watching we already have right here? Baseball game. It's not just the baseball. It's a lot of people watching, and the new stadium. If you're familiar with the park that's configured now, I mean, of course, our owners already have made designs of what this stadium would be like, modeled after a lot of new ballparks and a lot of the cities I've talked about. There's just ample space to walk around, entertain yourself, food and otherwise, people watch, and have a blast of a night out. That just takes the downtown experience up a notch. How'd I do? How was that?
You did great.
Okay.
And I think the thing that I would love to see about it is, what's going to take place outside of the stadium as well. Because once you get, if it comes to fruition, I guess I envision, besides all the entertainment you're going to have inside the ballpark and inside the confines of the ballpark area, but people are going to be walking a lot. And summertime, we have a lot of street musicians and entertainment going on, and I can see that building. In downtown Sioux Falls already puts together quite a few people for the summertime. Those acts are booked well before summertime hits. And I've been taking a look at a lot of people's schedules for this summer already, and there's people that are playing 4 or 5 times downtown.
Oh yeah.
And, the great thing then is that afterward, especially if a ball game starts at 6:30 and the game's getting shorter. So now we're talking about, instead of 10 o'clock, the ball game ending.
Yes.
Then, you're looking at more like 9 o'clock or even before. And people having the ability to still go out and enjoy the rest of the evening, especially if it's a weekend evening. And then... I'm just assuming that you would probably continue the fireworks.
Of course. Every Friday.
Fireworks downtown.
Oh, yeah. On a Friday night at about 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're at the game or not. No, I mean, you crushed it on all of that. It's us wanting to be, the Canaries, wanting to be more of a part of the community. We feel like we are, but location is everything. You're not just a part of the downtown community. You're now at the place that is the most popular place in town for people, again, to visit, to dine, to drink, to entertain themselves. And now you're a part of the scene. But the other thing that we touch up on, because the Canaries understand, okay, you got 50 baseball games, and hopefully those bring in 1,000 or 2,000 people every night. Terrific. And there's no doubt, no one would doubt, that benefits the downtown area, that infuses even more business downtown, because there are some people who do like baseball, who are coming from out of town. I meet in all over the country, because I meet them every night at the ballpark. Part of my job is walking around and talking to people. Sioux Falls is about the only thing in between Rapid City and Minneapolis. If you're traveling the I-90 stretch and you're traveling the country and you're going somewhere else, stop in Sioux Falls. Well, what's to do in Sioux Falls in the summer? There's a baseball game, right? I mean, you want to see the downtown in Falls Park, but try the food and the drink. But people will just, this is just I figured you had going on here is a baseball game. Exactly. Okay, so we make that fun, but again, if you do it downtown, some people are just going there for the baseball, and of course they're going to go out before and or after the game. It's going to help the downtown. And you talk about musicians. I've already brought in, the Premier Playhouse coming out to the game. We've made an emphasis the last 2 or 3 years to occasionally have a live musician for happy hour before our game. Our gates open an hour before the game. We have a beer garden, and this year it's going to be Saturday nights. We'll have a local live musician that you'd normally see at McNally's or somewhere downtown, and performing in our bar area. We're going to have a Parrot Head night for Jimmy Buffett fans, as we did last year. Big Scott and Too Drunk to Fish. They're going to just play. That was a blast. The Parrot Head Club had their monthly meeting at the Birdcage.
Oh, perfect.
And partied, it felt like they were more into the pregame performance of all the Jimmy Buffett songs from Too Drunk to Fish, but we made sure most of our entertainment that night revolved around Jimmy Buffett songs. So anyway, the musical aspect of it, this area where the ballpark would be, and we can We can dive into that as well to explain where downtown it would go. But this is a 10-acre plot of land over by McDonald's on 10th Street before you cross the Big Sioux River on the east side. And there's a lot of things that can be done with the area around it that can connect it, because it's not right
near a aquatic center, outdoor aquatic.
Yeah,
ironically, which
Drake
used to be a
Springs.
baseball.
Yes. So, and I'm sure you have memories. We could get more into that. But this space, the public has, had its chance to weigh in on an online survey. It's called the Riverline District. And, there's quite a course of people who don't want baseball or a baseball stadium. They think that'd be a big waste of space because not everybody loves baseball. And what the Canaries have come back with is this will be a multi-use facility. Okay, some people thought that space would be better used for outdoor concerts. Well, we already have the Levitt. No. These giant Kane Brown, Journey, and did Journey go? I think Journey was at the Premier Center. But,
Yeah, they were.
Were they? Yeah. Carrie Underwood and, Paul Simon, Fleetwood Mac, and went to all those. Wouldn't it be nice to have something like that outside in the summer? Is there something far more magical about an outdoor concert?
True.
Well, the Levitt can't hold that many people for that big of a show, but the Birdcage could. Mm-hmm. And some people thought, well, how about an outdoor concert amphitheater type of space? Well, to me, that's a waste of space, because how many of those are you going to get every summer? What are you going to do with that for the rest of the year? But with a baseball stadium, there it is. I mean, you got your 3,000 or 4,000 seats that are already there for the baseball, thousands more on the field. That could be another use of the park. That could be something awesome that downtown Sioux Falls has never seen. And then there's the movie nights that we're already going to have at the Birdcage. So you're not at a drive-in movie. I love drive-in movie theaters. But, you're sitting in or on top of your car. If you're in it, you've got the windshield and the steering wheel impeding your view. If you're on it, you got to sit on the hood or the windshield. A little uncomfortable.
And then you're wondering when that FM station's going to go out.
At the Birdcage, we're going to do it a few times this summer, by the way. It's partly what I wanted to tell you. You can have these movie nights, sit in your lawn chairs, sit in the stands. Another awesome use for the community that's not just baseball, that we don't have, that could be downtown, as another option for people to enjoy.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Looking forward to all of it.
Yeah.
And hoping that that downtown does become fruition. Now, that might sound a little odd to some people that remember me years ago when they were doing the idea of having a premier events center down there. Mm-hmm. I did not want that down there. I did not want that because I thought traffic would be hell.
Yeah.
And
always an issue you have to address with these things.
And, you drive down Phillips Avenue on a Friday night or Saturday night right now, and it's, it's going to take you a while to get a couple of blocks. And back then, everybody was smoking something, apparently. They were saying, well, 10,000 people get out of downtown in 15 minutes after work every day. And it's like, okay, but now we've got the 85-foot-long pickups that everybody drives, and then they want to turn around to go the opposite way in the middle of these. And it's just, that part wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Based especially where they were looking at putting it at that time. But now in this location, I can go for that.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be great foot traffic. I also, at least from the things that I've also heard rumblings about, is that it wouldn't be a huge 10,000 seat stadium. It's going to be a little smaller.
Oh, I mean,
and it's going to fit the market.
Yeah. Our stadium currently holds 4,500. And there used to be nights 15, 20, 30 years ago when it was new to Sioux Falls. And the Canaries, I believe, the Skyforce were the first to come. The Skyforce were the first pro sports, beyond high school or Augie and USF sports to come to Sioux Falls. But the Canaries were second. And then the Storm and Stampede followed. And in each case, Sioux Falls showed how hungry it was for something new like this. Mm-hmm. It's not just sports, it's entertainment, it's events, it's things to be at. every one of those 4 teams rode that wave for several years, just because it was a new facility. People want to check it out. The Denny Sanford Premier Center had that. The Stampede experienced that, and so did the Storm by being in the Denny Sanford Premier Center for a few years. There's no doubt you build a new baseball stadium downtown, there's going to be the Canaries attendance will automatically boost. Because I hear this, well, gee, attendance has been declining out there. Why are we going to bleed the city dry by because any new facility brings new people, draws new people, and you put it downtown where all the people are already at and going anyway, it's it'll be a nice uptick. What we're trying to do as the Canaries, first of all, we don't know if that stadium is going to get built. We could talk about all the details about how it can get built, what kind of chances there are of that happening. It's a long road, and the Canaries are one of several options that the city's going to explore. But we know it's 3-4 years down the road at the earliest. If it happens, we've got to make sure the parties and our product out there is worth it, to establish that it's worth the drive out to go and see what we're doing. But circling back to the parking and all that, okay, however you felt about the arena, the convention center, and that being down there, and to your point about the capacity, you're not dealing with nearly as many people. Now, if you brought Garth Brooks or Paul McCartney, if he's still alive in a few years, I don't know if you're going to have something that would fill 15,000 at the Premier Center, but you could have something almost as big or somewhere in between that and what you get at the Levitt, which I love the Levitt shows. I love, new bands, new music that I've never heard before, and sitting out on a lawn chair. But we're talking about something bigger than that, and maybe it's 8 or 10,000. Okay, to your point, will traffic be not ideal on those nights? No,
but it's not ideal right now.
But for these baseball games,
but when they were looking at having that type of thing, and it was going to be several nights a week, and just the fact that they kept saying, oh, but 10,000 people, 15 minutes, that's all it takes. And it's like nada.
I've got a great line from one of the major players in making downtown Sioux Falls terrific again in a moment. The Canaries, there's going to be 1,000 or 2,000. The stadium's going to be built probably. The Canaries have designs of what the stadium will look like, where on that plot of land it would sit, and the plan is roughly 3,000, which is 1,500 less seats than we have now. As I meandered off into a sidetrack a couple minutes ago, we at first, when we built that stadium, had plenty of opportunities and some nights where you could sell the place out 4,500. You could get at least 3,000 or more there. Those days are dwindling, and they can come back with a downtown stadium, but we'd build this stadium's capacity smaller in seats, but with plenty of room to roam and plenty of room for big concert events and stuff beyond these Canaries games. But we're not kidding anybody. Most nights, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. That's far more manageable. Traffic congestion, parking, etc. It's very manageable. And whenever that is, and by the way, that's a common sentiment. Anytime you build any venue, especially a sports stadium or arena, downtown in any city in America, what Sioux Falls is going to embark on with this argument about a baseball stadium, and there will be in the coming months and maybe years, is all that traffic and parking, and it's been done 1 trillion times. I've mentioned where they've built new park. How do you how do you find the space? We've found the space, the Riverline District. Okay, there's always going to be a space. Target Field was just squeezed into this cranny of downtown Minneapolis. And it's wonderful. People love it. There's 30,000 people going there on Friday nights. All right. So we have these people called city planners and city engineers, and they somehow always seem to figure that all out. Not just how we can fit this, what else we can fit there, how we can connect this to Phillips Avenue, because it wouldn't be in the middle of downtown. There'd be a bit of a walk if you're going from a bar on Phillips Avenue to across the river. How to beautify it, how to make it pedestrian friendly. Well, Sioux Falls city planners and engineers have proven to hit the mark most of the time on what we got right now, and they will again. And chances are maybe they've thought about this already. Just chances are. And when it comes to parking and traffic, probably build a parking ramp there. They will find a way. City planners in other cities have always found a way. In a downtown that's already been built and been there for decades, beyond 100 years, how do you build this stadium, and how do you handle all those people and all those cars? It's been done many times. We have smart people who can figure that out. It can happen.
All right.
Yeah.
What's the line that you saved?
So Dave Munson was the mayor of Sioux Falls, and look, he was the mayor during the time where downtown really got its big boom, and the seeds were all planted for what it is today, right? You'd know better than I if he deserves all that credit. That was before my time. But
he deserves a great deal of credit. I don't know if I would say all the credit.
Of course not. No one deserves all the credit. And the Washington Pavilion was kind of the first real catalyst of downtown to bring people back to wanting to go down there.
Yeah,
because
he had a big
and
hand
that was before he was mayor.
Right, and he also had a big hand in cleaning up Falls Park and getting Phillips to the falls. Yeah. He got that started. Then it was let's see. I'm trying to remember who actually got it finished. And then when they had that celebration, they gave Munson and also the previous mayor,
Gary Hansen.
Gary Hansen from the Public Utilities Commission now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Dave was rightfully a part of this panel today, Monday, Downtown Rotary Club, of to how Sioux Falls downtown got to be so awesome. And his first priority was, get rid of the loop, get rid of the cruising loop. Mm-hmm. People didn't want to go downtown because they're loiterers, they're teenagers. No one wanted to go there after dark. And there aren't very many bars, restaurants, things to do down there, right? Businesses didn't want to be there because of this. So get rid of that loop, make it more pedestrian friendly. But for God's sakes, we have one of the best landmarks in South Dakota outside of the Black Hills, a natural beauty, a gem sitting right there. Falls Park, waterfalls, pink quartzite.
Yeah.
And he said, well, when people ask, well, how do I get from downtown to Falls Park? Can I just walk down Phillips and no? And again, you can tell me I wasn't there.
It was nasty. It was not a place that you bragged about going.
Yeah, you'd have to direct people around into some residential neighborhood, industrial neighborhood. Like you had to go around Falls Park to get to Falls Park when you could just walk a straight line in there. So Dave Munson's top priority after getting rid of the loop was making it so people could just, walk down Phillips Avenue and right into a natural beauty. Wow, wouldn't that just hit on all cylinders for anybody's concept of what could make a mid-sized, isolated, middle of nowhere Midwestern city a splendor? Mm-hmm. It's like we've got to, I grew up in Omaha and Lincoln. They don't have anything like waterfalls, pink quartzite downtown. They don't have that. Get up on the tower and you can see the downtown skyline. I can't think of Minneapolis doesn't really have. Very few cities have a natural gem like that, and yet most people didn't get a chance to go see it.
There were probably thousands, literally, within the city that didn't even know it existed.
Yes, and so now you've got an awesome cosmopolitan, metropolitan downtown, and you can it connects. You can walk in there, drive in there. They had to take out like a steel mill, or they had to take out something. So Dave Munson talked about that. Okay, so of course I'm taking too long to get to the point. So he really wanted that arena and that convention center downtown.
Yes, he did.
Right or wrong, he really wants that baseball stadium downtown. And he would hear all the time, and I brought it up to him again today. Parking, traffic, hell. And when I mentioned that, I didn't present it to him like that. I didn't say parking, traffic, hell. But when I brought that up, he did one of the biggest, most impressive eye rolls I've ever seen. And because he's been hearing about that for 10 or 20 years.
Easily 20.
So here's the line that took us a half hour to get to. Gee, no one seems to have trouble finding a parking spot or complains about finding a parking spot 30,000 people parade of lights every year. Wow. Somehow 30,000 people jam downtown once a year.
That's a small number.
Yeah. And look, that's a once in a year event, but to think about baseball games that might be 1, 2, 3, 4,000, to think about outdoor concerts that may be 8, 9, 10 plus thousand. Yeah, if it's a good enough draw and people like it and want it, then they will come and they will deal with that. And again, the city engineers and planners will find ways to make things easier on people.
And you always make it easier on going to a ball game.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if this is going to happen. I mean, it makes sense to me, but I'm very biased. So for the time being, we've got to make it worth the drive to where we are out by the Denny Sanford Premier Center. And that's that's another area I haven't dove into yet, but think about how that ballpark not being there anymore could enhance the experience of going to games and concerts out there. My guess, and this goes back 4 or 5 years, well before I worked with the Canaries, the city wouldn't mind bringing in much bigger concerts and sporting events than it already has with the Denny. This city thinks big. This city keeps exploding in population. Don't pretend for a second they don't want the NCAA men's basketball tournament here and having that place full for that. Really putting Sioux Falls on the map nationally. But to do that, you need more hotels.
True.
And you're going to need something more than what you have surrounding the Denny Sanford Premier Center. You take the Birdcage, you put it downtown, voila, you've got some space for that district that everybody's always wanted to see pop up around the Denny Sanford Premier Center since it was conceptualized and built. All of a sudden, you've got that room for the hotels with the restaurants and the bars and more parking. It enhances that experience out there as well.
All right. Well, you have enhanced the experience of the Dave Holly Hour once again, John Gaskins.
Yes.
I thank you so much. And again, next week, starting up.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Let's zip it back
early
to the
start for the Canaries.
Let's zip it back to the present. I mentioned the St. Paul Saints and what a downtown cultural experience going to their games are as part of their whole downtown community. It's a vision that's worth continuing to talk about, and we all hope happens. But the great thing about our owners is they're invested, they're interested, they want to be a big part of the investment of downtown. They've already invested in what we've got out there at the Birdcage. It's a charming old park, and they said from day one 2 years ago, we've got to earn it. We've got to earn the right for Sioux Falls to want to come back to the Birdcage. Enjoy themselves and the experience you get out there. It still really is only a 10 to 20-minute drive for most people in town. And we want to get the parties going out there for the next 2, 3, 4 years so we can get the momentum going. And then it's already going to be a home run downtown. It's already going to be a grand slam downtown. The Saints did that. They had an aging facility. They made sure to bring entertainment, awesome food, local artists, musicians, entertainers, be a whole part of the whole experience. So, bang, it happened there. That's all we can do right now. So, if you've listened to this point and you're not necessarily a baseball fan, or maybe you just haven't been to a Canaries game in a while, give it a shot. You're gonna love it.
Yep.
And if that's all we know is that's our home for at least 3 or 4 more years. No matter what, and we're going to make the most of it, and we'll make it worth it for you.
All right. Looking forward to it. Again, I'll miss the openings, but
you'll be okay.
All righty.
We got 50 opportunities, sfcanaries.com. And by the way, some prices on some tickets went down. That's the part we didn't mention. It's family friendly. You can drop your kids off at our Kids Zone, bounce house and playground. Our staff supervises them. Doesn't cost you a cent. Where you go out to a restaurant, you got to worry about with your kids on any given night. It's fun. You're out of the house. You got to worry about where they're at. If you go out to a city park, it's nice. Go to the Levitt Shell for music. wonderful experience, but you guys kind of got to chase your kids around, make sure it's, it's not ideal. It's nice. It's out of the house. It's not ideal. You can afford to go to our games, our parties, but also we've got an area where your kids can have a blast for a while, and our staff supervises it. You can go sit in the stands, just enjoy your awesome food and your beers, kick back for a little bit of time away from the kids, and everybody's happy. Okay.
All righty.
That's it.
Okay. John Gaskins, thank you as always. Appreciate it. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. Bisque, studio time, or finished custom items are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Helping women feel empowered and confident is what Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th does, while supplying high-quality clothing that fits your lifestyle, personality, and price point. Whether you want comfy and cozy, casual attire, or something for a special occasion, Posh provides quality, selection, and value. They carry sizes extra small to 3X and have something appropriate for any age. Feel empowered and get confident. Posh Boutique at the Bridges at 57th.
From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, April Van LIersburg and John Gaskins. And of course, thank you for listening, downloading, sharing, following on social media, and of course, just overall support of this show. It's greatly appreciated. Now, if you haven't done so far, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, which automatically gets you entered for Pizza with a Podcaster. For all 178 episodes, go online at DaveHollyHour.com. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramics, Posh Boutique, The Sky in Tea, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and Sonny's Pizzeria. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to DaveHollyHour.com and look for a coffee cup icon in the lower left. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.